simple knowledge of who he is in relationship to his God is very important for us to think and remember. The other thing is, as important as this day is for all of us, it's also important to remember that Father is one part in a building block of over 150 years of St. Joseph's congregation. And that's, by an American standards, quite a long time for a congregation. And you can start with a foundation and build up, and every important stone has to be placed carefully so that succeeding stones are placed properly and will never falter. And Father has done that part of the overall span of St. Joseph's Parish, of St. Joseph's congregation, inordinately well. And as far as I can gather, Father Friedland is the only other previous pastor who has gone the 33 full years of ministry to his congregation. And as Father Friedland is a cornerstone, so Father Bresnahan is the next important part of that building of the St. Joseph's family that will take us into the next century. And with that in mind, I just want to bring out a quote from St. Paul. You think you only hear scripture from the front of the church. Well, you don't. This is from his letter to the Corinthians, the beginning of it. And after he talks about being upset that certain people are claiming that they are for so-and-so and they are for so-and-so, and he's the importance of remembering that we are God's children and not bound to one man, he says something that is very, very important for me. We are simply God's agents in bringing you to the faith. Each of us performed the task which the Lord allotted to him. I planted the seed and Apollos watered it, but God made it grow. Thus it is not the gardeners with their planting and watering who count, but God who makes it grow. Whether they plant or water, they work as a team, though each will get his own pay for his own labor. We are God's fellow workers, and you are God's garden. I'm very glad to have been part of that garden that Father has given so much time and attention to nurturing, taking care of it, pruning when necessary, and preparing the garden for the next pastor who will follow him and for the life that will continue, because it is now our labor to take what Father has given us and pass it on to the next generation. And that is how the faith continues from generation to generation. Thank you.
Tom Church, thank you for those very thoughtful words. There are two more organizations that had
Church. St. Joseph Church was built by German immigrants in 1856 and stands as an historical landmark in the center of Detroit. It is a truly beautiful and in German-speaking priests for Mass, confession.
Love, dear Virgin Mary, it's Father Bresnahan we have in mind. Tear a star from off the sky and the sky feels blue. Tear a petal from a rose and the rose weeps too. Take your heart away from mine and mine will surely break. My life is yours to make. Dear Virgin, please keep that spark away. And now we see the young man. The young man is kneeling at the foot of the altar. the bishop has his hands extended over his head. And at the very tip of the altar, the Lord speaks, "Great is this mystery, great the dignity of priest." This mystery, this dignity of priest, to whom that is given, which is not granted even to the angels. And the Lord will bear you up on the breath of dawn. I shout with joy, you who dwell in the shelter of the Lord. He will make you to shine like the sun and hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you.
Yes. A dinner is never complete until we thank all those people who made it possible for you to be here and enjoy this wonderful.
First of all, I would like to thank all of you for being so patient with the seating, and I hope you all had a very wonderful dinner. I'd also like to have, for time's sake, to have all the committee members stand and let us thank them all together. So if you'd all stand. I would like to just say a couple of words of personal thanksgiving to Father. I'd like to say, first of all, how I met Father. About 17 years ago, I came down to St. Joseph, and Grace Borland came up to me and she said, "Marianne, Father's dogs are missing." And I said, "Oh, Grace, I'm scared to death of dogs." She says, "Well, they have to guard and protect Father tonight. If he doesn't have those dogs here, I don't know what we're going to do." So I said, "Okay, I'll get in the car and I'll see if I can find them." So next to the rectory is a train track, drops down about 30 feet. And sure enough, down on the train track was Maxine. And Grace says, "Oh, Marianne, you have to go down there and get them." And I said, "Grace, I'm scared to death of dogs. I'm petrified." And it was 8 inches of snow on the ground besides. So I proceeded down the embankment. When I got down to the train tracks, the dog was down there, and she said, "You have to put his leash on." And I had to go down a 4-foot cement embankment to get down on the railroad tracks to get this dog. So I got down there because the dog couldn't come up, it was too high. And while I was down there, here I was down with Maxine and myself, and I don't know how I'm going to get back up again, and I'm scared to death. So we had to cross over the railroad tracks and find an opening and come up on the other side, and I had to push the dog up from behind and put the leash on, and in the meantime talk to myself that you're not afraid, the dog is not going to attack you. So anyway, I brought the dog back to the rectory, and all was well. And I don't know if Father ever knew that story, that the dogs were even missing, but we had to protect him. And another story, I'd like to thank Father for the opportunity also, on behalf of a lot of people that are here that have had the opportunity to come and help me clean the church, along with my children. And we started about 17 years ago. And one of the things that happened one day, and I would like to say this too on behalf of everybody, we'd love and I had the bottom section of the pie dough in the pie plate. I put the apples in, and as I was rolling out the top section, I noticed that there were these little something inside the crust of the pie. And I thought, we only have an hour to serve dinner, and the pie takes 45 minutes, so what am I going to do when there's no more flour in the house? So I said to Grace, "Well, what should I do?" She says, "Oh, just a little bit of something, it doesn't matter, Father won't mind." So I went ahead and I put the lid on the pie, baked it, and after I baked it, you couldn't tell there was anything on the top, so I just took some sugar and sprinkled it over the top. And I made sure we all said a good Thanksgiving blessing before we ate it, and it's 17 years later, so I'm sure there was no harm done. But anyway, thank you again, Father, for everything that you have done for our family personally and for all of us here present. At this time, too, I would like to say there have been a group of people, which I have the names on here, but I will give you the names. But if the people would like to come forward, this is another little story. You've seen this fish aquarium up here. Well, one day when I was taking Father to his appointments, I asked Father, what do you think you're going to be doing when you retire? And he said, you know, he said, I've always liked fish. I said, oh, you like to go fishing? He said, no. He said, I had a fish aquarium one time when I was on vacation, somebody disassembled it and they never...
So I thought we'd bring it right up. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming here and this great celebration, which I appreciate very much, and I know I'll carry the memory of this day for many, many years, I hope. I got one little point I want to make, and Father Schrader, of course, we invited him to be here today, and he's on retreat this day, and just look forward for spirituality, as George has told us, in the center of Detroit. Thank you very much, everyone, and this is the end of the program, I believe, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.